Are you ready to kind of dive in to this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So basically, just the way that I like to do this, and what I try to accomplish with this is just kind of having a free-flowing conversation, and start. There's no right or wrong answers. This is just really to get juices flowing, and I try to start pretty big picture, and then just kind of slowly work down to more of the particulars as far as just business type of things. And I have three different parts to a business that I think are important. The way that I break it down is operations, acquisitions, and fulfillment. So those are kind of the ways that we will be working through these things. That's just kind of a brief overview. But the very first thing that I want to start with, like I've talked before about, is just kind of the entrepreneurial coaching aspect of this. And I really believe that businesses should serve your lifestyle and not the other way around. So we're talking about your engineering. How exactly would you describe like your business? What do you do? Is it engineering consulting or freelancing?
It's freelancing, and it's so far just drafting.
Okay.
Doing like the engineering drawings.
Okay.
Which is what any structural company would have. They would have engineers that are working under them to prepare the plans. So anything that goes out for design, any repairs, anything, we have to submit to the city. We have to do a plan, and it has a particular language, so it requires a particular knowledge and experience. And that experience comes from, part of it comes from being an engineer, part of it comes from the experience of dealing with a city, and part of it comes from knowing the programs and all that stuff.
Okay.
So I have the engineering part, I have the practice of dealing with a city, and I have the drafting understanding as well. So what I do is that I offer my services to structural engineers. So there's a lot of structural engineers that do it on their own, and they got used to it. Some older engineers, but they're getting too old.
Okay.
And they need younger people that kind of do it quicker.
Okay.
Then there's also small businesses that struggle having like a good employee that wants to be in an office, because let's be real, like young people don't want to be in an office. And the environment is also very uncomfortable sometimes in those offices for younger people. So remote just works perfect. Like when I work remote, it feels so much better. It does require responsibility. So what I do is that I hire people that want to do freelancing. And what I want is for me to build a platform that makes freelancing be easier for those who are depressed on the industry, in the office.
Okay.
Like in those four walls, and they're like, oh my God, this is horrible. And engineering is one of the industries, civil engineering in particular. Can't speak for the others, but I think the others are kind of also similar in a way. It's that they haven't evolved within their working methods. They're still even though there's so much technology that evolves within the construction industry, mostly in the mechanical portion, like now we have this new machine that can do this and this. The ways that people work out there is still very rigid, like tunnel focus and all that stuff. So that's really hurting the younger generation, and this is why we have like this whole a lot of people, and I hear this from managers, like from people that own businesses, and they're like, oh my God, everybody wants remote. Are they kidding me? That doesn't work. And in my mind, I'm like, it does. It doesn't work because there hasn't been a system created yet for them to also be reliable. Like these younger generations, they're still new, and there has to be a system set for them to keep motivated. So I'm working remote, but if there's not a system made for it to be motivating, in a flow to be consistent, so it's motivating and it's energizing, people are gonna slack off. You don't have a boss, and younger generations do need a little bit of strictness or like a little bit of leadership teaching for them, like lead up, become. They need role models for them to become more leaders on their own, and leaders of their own craft. Like I can lead you, I can help you, and I can be a role model, but you have to also learn how to be how to be self-managed.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to build something that kind of builds up to that. So that's like the bigger picture.
Okay.
What I do right now, it's like it kind of just built on its own for me, because I think it's kind of like my natural thing, my natural gift that I've had since a young age, which is attracting smart people.
Okay.
One of them is smart people, but smart people are hard to manage. So they don't all work with me. They're just around me. They're like little birds that are just like, hey, what's up? They stick around. No matter what, they stick around. They're all around me just looking, saying hello, want to hang out, want to date, want to this. And I'm like, the chemistry is about working together, but they don't get it yet. I do get it because I feed it. But then there's other geniuses that I do also. I mean, they're all geniuses. We all are. But the geniuses that are more detail focused on one little thing that want to work, and they're good at like building things and structures, and those are the ones that work with me. They also need like we all need it. We all need to like level up in so many things, but it's a progress that we build as we go, you know, so we can't be perfect to like get going. We have to just get going, and that's it, and we just develop on that way, which makes me like, I feel like a good leader or a good person to hold that foundation, because I'm always very self-aware of development. Like, there's no way that we can build anything if we're not self-developing, especially in these times which are so changeable. Like, it's changing every day, and I'm changing on the speed of the world as well. So if people are not keeping up, it's gonna be hard. So that's the big picture.
Okay.
And I'm just doing tiny bits of that, which is getting projects and sending it to other people, and it's building. For me, it's building me to lead people, to lead a vision, to lead a task, not lead people. I don't think it's leading people, it's just leading the vision and people being able to capture that, what I'm leading, and I be able to do it.
Okay.
With, good. So that's in the works. So that's what I do right now.
Okay.
In a simple way.
Yeah.
And sometimes.
Yeah.
When I get the job.
Okay. Perfect.
Does that make sense?
That's phenomenal. That's a great overview. There's a lot of information there. Before we even really just kind of dive into the business aspect of it, I just kind of want to start with, even before thinking about this business, do you have any personal goals that you want this business to achieve for you? And on the same note, like, is there a certain lifestyle that you're desiring to get out of this?
Yeah. So the lifestyle is like easy, effortless living, where I believe in this, and I have my life kind of set up in that way, but it needs to upgrade a little bit more, money-wise and foundational-wise. So it's where I work and I do great things, but it's effortless, and I'm always in consistent development of my foundations, which are the ones that are going to create this effortless work. But it's effortless living. Like, I don't see myself working burnout. Like, burnout is not part of my living. Like, I don't want anything that burns me out. And that's why when I work now, I'm like really hyper focused with energy management. So in energy, like I actually feel and sense it. So when I am sensing procrastination, has a lot to do with our inner management saying this is not the path, which is interesting because our mind tends to tell us, oh, I should be doing this. No, sometimes that procrastination is saying, this is not the right flow. This is not the efficient flow. And we tend to, punish ourselves for our own inner clock, our own inner pointer is saying, hey, this is not the efficient path. So I listen to that and I study that within my own path within my own system. I'm like super meticulous. Like while people are overthinking and overanalyzing and burning themselves out, I'm just sitting here chill and, well, not always chill. I'm not perfect, okay? But I do, but this is like my center. Like I just center and I just follow that flow. So I want an effortless living and create money and create many things in an effortless way. And at the same time, I see myself working with a lot of people in that way as well. Like the teamwork is effortless.
Okay.
So that's something I see within my lifestyle, like just effortless, where I have time to live, have fun, and travel and live, like so I can fulfill all my needs. My only need is not making money.
Mm-hmm.
Or be creative. There's also the need of just being and living and enjoying and eating and all that stuff. So I just want to kind of like have a sustainable living style.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Sounds lovely.
Does it make, it sounds perfect, right?
Yeah. And this stuff, and I appreciate you clarifying, but like all of this, it does all make sense, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily have to. This is really like a thought, not a thought experiment, but just really a way of getting the juices going, and whatever comes out of your mouth is the right answer and makes sense. So just, just to kind of, there is no right or wrong answers in these things. We're just getting information out there into the world and trying to focus kind of the thought a little bit and try to pick some specifics out that we might be able to work on. Okay, before we dive just too deep into the nitty gritty of it, what are some accomplishments that you are proud of throughout that you have accomplished so far with this business?
Well, I've accomplished to keep my clients coming back to me.
Okay.
Even when it's been tough, even when there's been errors that I'm like, no, but they're not that big. But I feel like it's like a failure. I feel like my clients keep coming back to me because there's like a strong sense of trusting of that if anything happens, I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna keep my word. And so I just feel like people come back to me because I do a good job, and then they also trust me in the communication. They feel comfortable with me in communication. They feel comfortable to call me and let me know anything. There's an openness. So I feel like that's an accomplishment, because building a business, I think, besides quality and all that stuff, which I care about, I think a lot of it comes also with trust and building that trust. So I've been, and a lot of it for me, building that trust has been like speaking up, and a lot has been like speaking really strongly to even my clients, like no or yes, like saying big no's or putting agreements, or so all that building up, I think, has been like accomplishments, because they keep coming back, and our trust or our connection is a little bit stronger. So it feels like an accomplishment, because like all the no's and all the boundaries and all that kind of stuff has been building up to have like a stronger connection with my clients. So that's teaching me valuable things for businesses.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me a little bit more about your clients? Like, who are they?
Okay, so my clients, and this is like with all my businesses, most of my clients come from word to word. Like, those are my best clients, like people who know me, and obviously they connect with me and they trust me, so they recommend me, are the clients that I get in all my businesses. Like, I haven't received clients from online. Well, I've gotten attention from online, but never clients yet.
Okay.
So I don't think I'm good at getting clients yet online. But so most of my engineering clients are people that have heard of me through someone else, and they just recommend me.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about, personal goals that you're trying to accomplish with your business, but do you have any goals specifically for your business? I'll just leave it there.
for my business.
Mm-hmm.
More clients.
Okay.
I think like more consistent. At least right now, the first steps I would love to have like five projects, and it feels like it has to be more clients.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. So just on that too, have you just taken the time to kind of sit down and come up with like a plan on how to grow your clients or grow your business?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. What do you think, and this is just big picture, what do you think some of the most important decisions that you're facing are right now?
Important decisions?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, there's so many because I have many other things going on with my life. But within this would be, should I go big or should I keep going the consistent flow that I have? I have to make a step that makes at least a bigger, like I have to make a big decision on getting clients. And I feel like there's been a non-resistant, I wouldn't say it's resistant. I think I've been just building up that courage and that preparation, that self-preparation for that step, because I wanna have a little bit more clients within engineering, but because I do other things, it's kind of like, because it will consume. Engineering is very consuming, so that's why it's been slow progressing, because I have to have the right people supporting that. I can't have a bunch of clients if I don't have the right people that can manage themselves well, because then I'll be burnt out managing them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know if that was...
No, that's good. I want to dive a little bit kind of deeper on that though. Like, so specifically with getting more clients, what do you think, I know you touched on it a little bit, what challenges do you think you're facing with, with that kind of, that goal?
That I haven't made the step yet. The way I get clients, I have a Craigslist post, which I need to update.
Okay.
But I have a Craigslist post and it gets me clients. If I go to networking events and I offer, but I like to offer my healing practices more because it's more driving for me. But I think I could get, it's just like in my networking events, I don't want to talk about drafting. It's not my passion. I mean, it's my passion to build this platform, and then once the platform is built, then I can just mention about it. But I want this platform to do its thing on its own. Okay. I don't want to be selling it, because yeah, it has a beautiful vision in it, and that I wouldn't be doing it if it doesn't have like a sacred purpose in it. But it's not something that I'm like gonna talk about for hours. There's nothing to talk about. This is for creatives, engineers that are ready to step into doing their own thing. So getting more clients within engineering would be having like more emails, like sending more emails. I have done that sometimes. There's not much feedback to it, but I do know energetically there is like a sense of like, this is the right way. I do have to contact people. And I know there's like a lot of business people that do this thing a lot, and I always get that feedback from people like, you should do that. And I have, it's just not enough, and there's so many companies out there. Also finding like which company is right, I think, with this company that I'm working with, I realized the contractors, like small contractors, or it could be even big, it's just a big contractors, they have their own employees, but even big ones could hire me. So contacting contractors and contacting fabricators, steel fabricators that are not using SolidWorks, mostly building house, like hospitals, buildings. SolidWorks is not that handy for that. SolidWorks is for other things, I think. Advanced Steel and the programs I use are more like to do building, like high buildings. what else? Yeah.
That's great.
I got lost.
No, that's great.
So yeah, I think it's more getting in contact with them.
Okay.
But not through like networking. I could do a networking if I meet somebody punctual that I'm like, oh, and then I'll network with them. But I think the way for me is to do something online that gets me clients.
Okay. And that is actually kind of my next question, but I wanted to I want to ask it is, what do you think your next steps should be to overcome these challenges?
So I've been feeling like doing a land page and having like a creative land page that has all my portfolio and my team. So simple, not the platform that I want to do yet.
Mm-hmm.
So just like a simple land page that shows my resume, who I am, and mentions my vision. I'll probably do like a little video where I'm like sharing what the vision is and blah blah blah, and mission, and then have the services offered there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you tried any of these approaches yet?
No.
Okay.
Well, I tried Share Tribe once. I don't know if you've heard of Share Tribe. It's like a marketplace, and it's like a Wix but marketplace.
Okay.
And it does like you sell from there. I can create like Upgrade. Have you heard of Upgrade?
I did not.
It's like a freelancer
Okay.
site.
Is it specifically for like engineering or?
No, for everything. So
Okay.
you go to Upgrade if you want to hire somebody to design your website, for example,
Okay.
and somebody from like somewhere outside the country can do your website for $20
Mhm.
or something like that.
Okay.
So something like that, but it would be more personalized, like more. And then seeing Share Tribe, I saw somebody that does marketing, and they built their own team, and they did that whole freelancing platform. So it is something. It's not like I'm doing something that nobody has thought. It's
Mhm.
just the foundation and the heart in it, and the mission and the vision, and the system that is going to be integrated in it. Just like a computer system,
Mhm.
like an amazing new computer that is better than Apple and all the computers we've seen. Something like that with people.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Before we move on, I want to talk just a little bit more on your vision of this platform that you keep mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what does that look like to you? We've talked about it a little bit, but I'd like to just kind of in depth. What are you hoping to accomplish?
Yeah. So it would be, I feel like for people to attract the right projects for them, projects that they actually want to work with, and for them to also offer services that they wouldn't be able to offer in a company.
Okay.
So they can offer the basic regular services that they know or tools, so they can make money and work with anybody, but also be able to launch their own like ideas, creative ideas, or craft that they want to explore with, and also be a platform that holds space for people to really be geniuses in their own stuff and kind of support them, and as well as bring trust for those clients to be like, yeah, we want to go in there. Because in those freelancing platforms, nobody knows anybody.
Okay.
This is gonna be like like everybody knows each other.
Okay.
Kinda. And also like people can collaborate together, and it's also bringing like a mix that it's like world outside. I would love to have people from Spain come and be like, oh, I have a project in the US, I'm gonna travel this week and I'm gonna do some site visitings and this and then that, and I'm gonna design for a few months and then go, and because I feel like the world is ours.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to be like, oh, I'm gonna go see a project over there in, I don't know, Portugal, and sit there and whatever, and then come back. Like, I think that we deserve that, and that's more fun, and that's what social media, like, that's what internet is about. It's not only about social media. Like, I don't want to travel through social media like, oh, this is so beautiful, I wish I was in Greece.
Yeah.
Like, I want to just be able to work with people from all over the place.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, I'm dreaming big right now.
Beautiful.
But before it wasn't that. It was like so basic in logic. But as I am expanding, that flow of that platform feels a lot more effortless, easier.
Okay.
Before it was just so complex.
Okay.
So that's why the self-development is so important. I swear, like my vision wasn't like this. It was so complex. It was like so like back in the days, old school way.
Nice.
Burning.
Yeah. Okay, I want to move on to something called, I don't know if you've ever heard of a SWOT analysis. SWOT.
I feel like I have, but
okay,
because I've seen so many videos.
Yeah. So I think this is actually really, I think, incredibly valuable if you go through it. So a SWOT analysis stands for your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. So I kind of want to just go through this. Some people like to go, start with strengths, go with weaknesses, opportunities. Some people, like for me, when I think of strengths, I also happen to think of my weaknesses as well. So I will try to guide you through this a little bit, but once the juices kind of start going, I just want you to kind of run with it. So specifically just with your engineering, what do you think your biggest strengths are?
Biggest strength?
And all of your strengths.
Engineering.
Or business, just yeah.
Okay, with this whole thing.
This whole thing.
Okay, so I would say my strengths are the big picture, expanding, like I zoom out in a way that I can see detailed in slow motion the picture, but in very slow motion. It's almost like the example that I can give is that when I play tennis, when I'm like in silence and centered, I can see the ball coming and I can really put myself in the right position and I can hit it in the right space, in the right spot. But it takes like a really centered place for everything to go in slow motion and you just hitting the ball in the right place and you can see everything. And I think it's like that. It's like a place of like zooming out and seeing the whole and how it affects the whole. So I'm very holistic viewed, So that's the skill. It's a bit visionary, a mix of visionary, also a bit of maybe spiritual centered mixed with that, because it has improved as I become more clear and spiritually centered. So that's one strength. Weakness with that is that I struggle with small, if I have to work for 3 hours on one little thing, I am struggling, because the moment I'm doing like, sometimes I'll keep focused for 10 minutes and then all of a sudden the big picture comes up and I'm like, shh, and I'm coming down again, and then the big picture comes up. So I'm consistently I can be present in certain tasks, like super present and focused, but I can also get distracted easily. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not a designer, structural designer, because it burns me out. So that's the weakness from that.
Okay. Is there? I mean.
So I can work with small details. It has to be in a particular way and efficient. It can be like overthinking, or I'll go into like big picture, or overthinking, analyzing or something. Okay, so another strength would be community building, organic community building. I think my drive, my motivation, I think that perspective that I hold so strong in me, and it's so that I give so much power to. I give power to it every day, which is a part of me that believes that everything is possible and nothing is hard. Like if I had like a motto or something inside of me that's really strong, that really defines me, it's that nothing is hard. And that's why I work to make life easier. So I think that those qualities or that essence inside of me that is so strong emits the signal and attracts people that are like that as well.
Okay.
And they're wanting to work with that. So I'm really good at building teams, because I think the big picture thing, the quality also that I'm a visionary or a big picture organizer and can really see holistically systems and things. I think that part of me also is attracted to people, because I can create that organically without having to say anything, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So team builder.
Okay.
Which some people call it community building, but I don't want to build a community. I want to build a team.
Yeah.
What else? That's another. Another strength would be, well, in my technical strengths, I would say that I have the grounding knowledge of science in a very intuitive way, so I can understand any level of science, as hard as it can be.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody comes to me with a PhD or anything, I will understand them, unless they're logically too entangled in their own logic. Then I'll probably be bored, and my head will kind of feel hot and burnt, and I'm like, I don't want to think like that. So I'll walk away from that. But yeah, so yeah, I'm really unknowledgeable in science, but not in a resourceful way that I'm going to be giving people tools, more in a, I can lead those things because I know how they work and how they function. Let's see, what else? So that's a strength for engineering. I also did a lot of calculations. I was really good in math and calculating, making calcs and stuff. So, and I understand like the complexity in calculations and going non-linear calculations and dynamics and all that. And even though I wouldn't do it, I have, again, like, if I had a challenge that was really difficult and I had to manage and lead something, I would understand all the understanding of that. So I can work through and lead any of that, like a design perspective. From a design perspective, I can be part of that process as well. What other strengths? I love simplicity in all aspects, and when it comes to like engineering, I think there's a lot of decluttering to do with simplicity, because I think we go to school and we're taught, and this is something that I think I've had to unlearn from school, and I think a lot of engineers have to unlearn, which is that they make everything really complex.
Over-engineering.
So see, yeah, so they go into like a structure and they see a crack and they're like, this is failing because of this and that. I'm like, no, it could have been just the heat. You know, it's just like they overthink everything. It's the overthinking portion. And school teaches engineers to look for problems so they can make solutions. But sometimes it's like, why don't you just kind of sense how to improve things without creating a problem? And also like being humble. Like, I also think that a lot of engineers wanna, because they come from this school teaching of looking for a problem all the time, it's almost like we're making money telling people that there's a problem, and maybe there isn't a problem. You know? Not that I want to say that to contractors and stuff, because actually contractors do, like, we need to do maintenance to our homes and all that, but I feel like more of like when we're innovating things mostly, and we're innovating something, I feel like sometimes people are creating this beast solutions and they're not really solving anything yet, and they're like, this is the solution, and I'm just like, so I think we're overthinking too much, over analyzing so much, and then it just creating more problems, and like over materials, and like I don't know, I feel like it would just make the problem worse sometimes. So for me, that the problem for that is the engineers are using their mind so much, when engineering doesn't come so much from the mind. It comes from a different level of thinking. There's mind to it, but it's not really that level of like overanalyzing. So yeah. Anything else? Any problems? What was I saying? Strengths and weaknesses. And what was the other? And threats.
Opportunities and threats.
Opportunities.
Why don't we, before we, I mean, you're kicking butt on strengths. Are there any more in there that you're...
Kicking butt? No, there's no. I mean, I can list a bunch of things of weaknesses, which I will go to that. With strengths, let's see. There's so many little things that I do well, but I'm still improving, so I don't see them as strengths. But I think communication is a strength that is in development. Like, I feel like it's a strength because of my empathy, but it's not a strength because as a young child I was the quietest human ever. So I started developing skill, like talking skill, communication skills, like later on. And so I don't have the best speaking skills yet. But when I have to communicate something and I have purpose and passion behind it, it kind of comes out well. So, and I've always been told, like, you will do well with it, because I think I judge it more than it is, you know. Also because I learned English and Spanish halfway. I never learned either of them fully because I always moved back and forth. So it was never taught completely, so I don't know Spanish well and I don't know English well, and I'm like in between both. Okay. So I speak them kind of like as I can. Yeah. So that would be, yeah. So I think it's a strength, the communication, because of my empathy and my vision, but it's in process. So it's between weakness and strength.
I don't want to burn you out. I don't want to spend too much energy on one thing. So why don't we move on to weaknesses?
Yeah, weaknesses. So weaknesses, I would say. So I'm learning how to lead boundaries, put in like strong boundaries because of my empathy. I tend to want to give opportunity to all people, clients and people I work with. And that is kind of like, it could be like an opportunity, you know, an opportunity for a strength, but it's also an opportunity for a huge weakness. So balancing it is something that I'm in work in progress, but it's really put me down a lot because I'm choosing somebody that doesn't do good for the job, and then they burn me out because I have to lead them, I have to manage them, I have to be a parent. It's almost like signing up to be a parent for somebody, and that's a no. So that's a strong boundary. I think putting boundaries to those things. So another week, I don't know, I have so many weaknesses. I think putting value to my price, putting the price on things, and also like backing it up. I know I have the skill, but you know, anything could go wrong, especially when you're also depending on other people to also keep up their stuff. So that does take development in trust with the people I work with, team trust. But putting value to my work has been something tough. Also, being strict about my boundaries, about like my rules, my agreements. Like I give an agreement to somebody, and I don't push, like I don't think I push hard enough to like send it back to me ASAP. Okay. So again, it's something that I'm like developing as I see. So every time I see a weakness, I try to work on it. Especially on boundaries. I think boundaries are the most important thing for a business to work appropriately and with no burnout. Taking work that is appropriate for my skill set, because I love taking risks. So I actually I have a skill right now that is really good, and that is the one that gives me the most money, but I didn't know anything about it. And it was like a shocker for all of us, the people that were working with me, and for myself, because we said yeah. And then I was fighting and teaching and learning the whole time. And it was a bit of a process. So it was a fun process anyways, but we made a lot of mistakes in the way. Yeah. But I think measuring, because I've had a lot of failures too, trying work that I can't take. But I've also said no to work that I can't take. I'm like, especially when it's work that is boring. I don't think it's because of the challenge. I can take as big as I can. It's something, it has to be excitingly and in like something that it really stimulates. Yeah. It stimulates me. Yeah, it can't be something boring that it's gonna be like, I'm calculating this horrible beam that has all this little pieces that someone can do in a minute. And I'm like struggling, no. Yeah. I won't take that job. I'll say someone else should do that. So I think taking like learning what jobs are appropriate for me and choosing the right thing. Okay. The biggest weaknesses also is my workflow with clients and in my drafters. And the drafters, not my drafters. The workflow to be more efficient in how the process, the engineering process. Okay.
Would you say lack of process or it's inefficient and it's not that important?
No, it's not. Because I felt a weakness, but it kind of went away because this one it's in progress. Like everything is in progress of building, and the process is efficient for now, but it will need to be better when there's more people. So I have to develop like a process for me to get more clients. That's a weakness, and I think that's probably why I don't have that many clients, because there's no system in how to get the information from the client that is appropriate, because my job is a lot of communication. It's based on communication. If I don't ask the right questions, everything can go to shit. So it's like getting the right questions from the people, getting the right information, and keeping that strongly for them, and then keeping all the files in one place, and then delivering that. I don't have like a system for that is like sustainable.
Okay. I'm gonna make a note of that real quick.
Yeah, capturing the idea, the vision, the work, the scope of work, all that kind of stuff. That process hasn't been built yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of go on the go all the time. Yeah.
Cool. Great. All right. That's a lot. A lot of people, I mean, I want to just congratulate you. A lot of people are like very good at listing their strengths, and they're like, I've got like 2 or 3 weaknesses. It's nice to work with somebody who is so aware
of my weaknesses.
Yeah, just of yourself in general. So why don't we move on? Because again, I mean, you've got a lot in here, but I want to be cognizant of your energy as well, because this can take a lot. Let's move on to some opportunities and threats, and specifically, I mean, again, I think you're good at understanding these things, but as far as opportunities, I mean, this can be, I would like to kind of maybe even encourage some out of the box thinking of this as well. Some people like a network or a particular client that might, have opportunities outside here, even your videography or your systems. So just kind of some of those ideas, and obviously anything else included in that as well. But why don't we dive into some of the opportunities that you...
Okay. So let's start with the opportunities that I see within building, like attracting the right people. That's probably the most exciting opportunity that I get excited about, attracting the right people that wanna be part of this. Because this is not something I wanna build for myself. This is something that I wanna build in collaboration. Like, and it's kind of hard to really see what my role will be and come with it, because it almost feels like I'm doing it for the love of art, and I'm not thinking about the income, although I feel like it's so valuable that it will give me income without me thinking about it. But I want to build this not alone, because one of the things that I like, the happiest days of my life that I can ever really, I mean, the happiest days of my life that I can really remember amazingly has been when I built things with other people, and we've built it together. Of course, I had like the idea, but everybody liked the idea, and everybody just put in like it would, you know, when you're a kid, when I was a kid thinking about it, I'm like, I would put the idea and everybody just do it. And I never thought of myself as a leader. You know, my parents would say, you are gonna be like this, and I'm like, but overall, like that color, it's not about being a leader. It's about, for me, it's about that. Like for me, I'm almost like romantically in love with that collaboration. It's like I'm passionate. I love it. It's like, yeah, it's like beautiful. You know, it's not romantic. It's beautiful. It's like, it's something that I would say like a flower, beautiful. You know, and it's that team building and everybody doing a thing. And my best days in my life was when I was an engineer, and like we would have a problem, we didn't know how to do it, and then everybody would just jump in with their qualities. So I see the opportunity, and I continue seeing people that I attract that are like beautiful pieces for it. But at the same time, I'm like, either I don't have the vision clear, and those people are not sensing it yet, or I have the vision clear, but it's not ready to be put down, so I haven't put it in the right words yet. Because it's the same vision that I've had for a long time, and it's getting better words, and I'm always like, oh, this is actually better. So it's something around that line. So I see the opportunity of attracting the right people. Like that excites me more than anything in the world. Like attracting somebody that can build this part and this part. Because for me, it's just like overwhelming to think that I need to build a system and build this and build that and build this. And it's just like, it even gets off my scope, because I am like a motor. I am like the person that presses the start button and gives that power forward, but I can't do all the details. It's just like that would burn me out completely, because it's not my interest. So that's my opportunity that I sense, and I sense it a lot, all the time. Especially now that I'm more like in my own flow. Another opportunity will collaboration with other geniuses out in the world, like what I was telling you about, like having opportunities to do things all over the world. I see that as an opportunity. I see that as like like the inspiration. What leads me to that vision is, first, because I am so diverse. I don't think like a Venezuelan or an American, which is what I've lived, the space that I've lived. I'm very diverse. I can think like a Chinese and like an Indian. I can relate with all types of cultures and all types of people. So I'm like, where am I from? I'm from the world. So I want to be able to experience. I want to be able to have an opportunity to experience the world in a way that I can like contribute to it. So. and it gives you expansion every time. Like when I brought people from Venezuela to work with me, and then it actually started expanding, I thought, wow, they're getting the experience, and this is expanding them. And then I've seen, that's another accomplishment that I felt, that I'm like, oh, I can see with the years that they've actually expanded as I felt. So I was like, it feels good, because it feels like it was never a waste. So it's motivating for me. So that's an opportunity I see for people to expand with this experience, and for us to have opportunity to work from all over.
Okay.
Those are the biggest opportunities. I think there's probably more, but I'd say those are the stamping opportunities of my vision. I definitely see like the little ones that I would say overall is just collaborating with other companies, being helpful for other people. Like small ones for now would be collaborating with other people that are like geniuses, like attracting permaculture geniuses and people that are like into innovating things that are actually the follow ethics, the follow earth ethics, you know, kind of combining people that really understand the earth and people that also understand technology and also understand efficiency and all that stuff. So kind of combining diversity. That's why I like diversity. All types of minds, you know, indigenous, all types. So, yeah.
Nice. Great.
That's an opportunity. The threat.
Yeah.
I would say threat would be health, not being burned out. So for me, I think having a big vision can be heavy on a person, and it's been heavy on myself, and health has been like a big thing for me, and I'm still like in recovering from that, because it's been like the moment I started tapping into my vision. This has been my vision my whole life. And I mean, it started mostly when I was doing my master's degree. It's when I started like opening up to it. And it led me to healing work. And now I do healing practices, but this is what led me to that. And it was because like my health was declining all the time. Anxiety, overwhelm, skin issues, allergies, food problems, like not being able to eat many foods and this and that, and there's reasons now for that. Now I understand a lot of things, and that's the tools that I carry, and that I've been able to overcome all those things and still work like it's a work in progress, because I still have a huge vision and I'm still trying to build foundation for it. So I'm still in the process, but I'm a lot more healthy compared to before. Mm-hmm. So relieving myself from negative thoughts, from just so much. And I have a lot of knowledge from that experience of self-development, because our thoughts can be overcrowded by negative energy and all those things. So that is what takes me into healing practices, and that's what takes me into building a strong foundation within myself. And now that I hold that and I practice that, and that practice actually develops my foundation more, because I'm always learning from other people, which I'm also very diverse. So I love learning from other people, because it teaches me so much of, I don't know, it just heals my multi-focus perspective. So it's like, as somebody heals something, I'm like healing also that perspective, you know? Yeah. So I think this is probably one of the reasons why I am so passionate about healing. And it's probably like my priority as my purpose and vision right now, because I'm like, we're not there. And I think probably one of the reasons why people that I attract don't really see me clearly is because they're not in that development yet. So I know we need it. So I'm like, I have to put this first and create this as I go, because we're not there. You know, we're not matured yet to develop whatever it is that is going to be developed through that. So we're not developed, we're not grounded enough, we're not centered enough, we're not in our hearts yet. A lot of us are thinking all the time, we're creating from our mind, and the mind is just a tool. We got to create from here. So that's the threat. The threat is the distractions and I just don't give up. So I don't give up. I'm always growing. I guess the threat would be dimming myself for my vision. I've always thought that I'm too much for it, and I have been perceived as too much, and I kind of maybe scare off people because I am too much in that sense. But then I've just kind of come into like acceptance that it's just gonna be, it's like that. I'm like that, and I eventually just meet people that actually can run with that. So I think the threat is giving up, and I think the biggest threat is just keeping balance with my body. It's probably the biggest, because the other ones, the giving up and all that stuff, I work on it. But health, when you have a big vision, even if you're centered, whoa, like sometimes it's just like I work all day, every day. So it's like, when am I gonna stop working? So it's like tender the body. So yeah, I think that's the threat, and like not tending to love enough, maybe. I mean, I give myself so much love compared to before with the self-development, removing the negative things. I am nourishing myself, but connecting with someone intimately and all that stuff, it's probably, I see it like a threat, connecting actually with somebody. I'm like, this is a huge distraction. So yeah, but anyways, those are threats that I would say. Those are the biggest threats.
Okay.
Yeah. Falling in love.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That was awesome. I think that was a very
Descriptive.
Yeah, I think that was phenomenal. I think just for me personally, I think, going through that process and really getting that out and just going through the process of thinking about these things, for me, it's very clarifying. Yeah, and I think we got a lot out of that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
Good. Yeah.
Good. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This next bit, let's dive. This is another, I call this the 80-20 evaluation. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Pareto principle.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's like only using 20%, focusing on the 20%.
Yeah, 80% of results come from 20% of inputs, essentially. So I don't know enough quite yet about your services to know how valuable this will be.
Okay.
But just shifting gear a little bit. And how you doing? You good? You good with everything?
Mm-hmm.
Mentally? Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
It can be, it can be kind of a lot to just keep going through these things. So as far as this, what kind do you offer different types of services?
I so far right now, it's shop drawings for steel fabrication, which are my favorites because they are well paid and they're also very technical. Like they're fun for the people that do them, very developing, and they take a lot of communication with engineers as well. And the other one is more simple, which is doing permitting plans.
Okay.
Just simple site plans, architectural elevations, cross sections, 3D model that needs to be approved.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the title of that? What would you call it? Permitting.
Permitting plans. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna go to the city and they need like a title page and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. And those are the two services you have right now?
So far, yeah.
Okay. And is there, does one pay? So do you get a lot more work from one, or does one of them happen to pay a lot better than the other?
I think the shop drawings pays definitely a lot more.
Okay.
It's a lot more risk. There's a lot of liability to take care of in there. So the communication is super important. So it takes a little bit of strong communication and a good team. But overall, I think the team is the best at it. So it's like my best job, and it gets like a huge chunk of money.
Yeah.
With that. And then with the other one, I feel like there could be more consistency
Okay.
if I get more clients.
Okay. Okay. I think that's all the time we really need to kind of spend on that.
Okay.
Okay, fantastic. That was kind of the big section of just operations. Now I wanted to kind of dive into the acquisition part of stuff and how do you get clients. So why don't we start there? I mean, I know we've already mentioned it a little bit, but how have you gotten clients? How do you get clients?
Acquisition part. Okay. So I get clients with people that have already worked with me, and Craigslist was another way, and calling and emails. But so far, only Craigslist and people that know me is the only way that I've gotten clients so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this next question might seem I know we just talked about this, and so I'm not looking at kind of the surface level, but the question is, what problems do you solve for your customers? Obviously you create drawings, but like one level deeper, is how would you describe what your services do for your clients?
Yeah. So for for the small permitting plans, I am solving time issues. So a lot of structural companies, they tend to hold up on this time a lot. Like they delay a lot on the drawings and the contractor loses money or patience because the engineer just has a few people, and the whole system, how they have developed it, is just slower. So I help time and budget.
Okay.
And I can help contractors actually get more specific on what they want
Okay.
in their drawings.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So the engineers tend to want to design it their way.
Okay.
Like they'll just design it their way. Contractors have their own experience already. So if they have good experience and I can trust them, so that's something I have to measure. If they have good experience, I can put in the plans what they want me to put. And then the engineer can just engineer what they need to engineer. So it gives them more ease for them to, put what they want. I don't know how to say it.
That's fine.
That's my weakness, is like the details.
Yeah, it's all right. This is great. You have a lot of strengths. Okay, so I know you do have repeat customers, you said, correct?
Yeah.
Do you have what percentage of your customers are repeat? It's not the best way of asking it.
I don't have that many customers though.
Okay.
It's just like big customers, so they bring big projects.
Okay.
One of them, what's the percentage that he repeats? I mean, he comes to me. I think I'm his only go-to person.
Okay.
So he always comes back to me.
How many customers do you have?
Like 4.
Okay. If you could describe, let's do, who are your best customers that you either have now or that you have ever had?
Okay. The best client that I have is for steel shop drawings, and he always brings me more people, more contractors. So he's the main client, and it's him, but he's not the one paying. Is the contractor that he's working with.
Okay.
But it's his shop drawings.
Okay.
So he's my best client. He's always getting me projects, and my goal is to get better so those contractors are impressed and they come back to me. One of them is impressed and he comes back. He tends to come back to me, but he doesn't do so much steel, so it's only once in a while. But the other one that's always doing steel because he's always doing hospitals, I'm trying to impress him. He came back once right now, and right now I'm like leveled up, so I think he will keep coming back.
Okay. So this best customer, is he the fabricator?
He's a contractor.
Okay.
Yeah. So my goal is that even if my fabricator doesn't come back to me, that this contractor, if he doesn't choose this fabricator, maybe not because he's not good, but maybe because he's busy doing something else, or whatever, he chooses another fabricator, he can choose me as a drafter.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's pretty valuable. Okay, so we've talked about the best customers that you do have, but if you could describe your absolute ideal customer, if it's any different, what would that look like?
Ideal customer. Well, that they know how to communicate. Okay. What they need, organized with their filings and all their data information. That they pay. They pay well. They're not like resistant or against pain. And that they do hospital big projects. Like I think my ideal client right now is those shop drawings drafting, but that they're like hospitals, important buildings, important infrastructure. Okay. Because they bring big projects for me. Okay. So it doesn't have to be a hospital. It could be like one of those I forgot the word of it, but they're the steel buildings, you know, that they're due for industries. I forgot the specific name for it. But yeah, just still steel buildings. Okay. All right. And it can be all over the state. I wish I could get more from out of state. Okay. Is there any limitations to why you can't? No. Okay. I don't think so. All right. Let's talk about, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but your web presence, like, you know, for your business. What do you have going on so far? Linktree. I have a link tree for it, and I don't have a name for it yet. I call it engineer artist, but I've been wanting to change it now. Okay. But yeah, it's Linktree. Okay. And any social media as far as specifically for this? I built a little bit of like a Facebook page, but it's not. Okay. I haven't shared it or anything. Okay. LinkedIn. Do you have a LinkedIn? For me. Okay. Yeah. All right. I guess, you know, with this, there isn't much of a social media strategy going on specifically for this business right now for you? No. Okay. No. Right. Only when I wanted to do the platform, I did like a whole video about it, and it caught a lot of people's attention. Okay. And people were wanting, but I never continued. I kind of like lost inspiration. Okay. Yeah. I can show you the video one day. Yeah, I want to. I just made a note of that too, because I would like to see that. Okay, all right. I think that's as far as just on the acquisition side of things. Now let's roll into fulfillment a little bit. We've already gone through what you offer. Is there any way? Are there any other things that you can offer, or are there any ways that you can kind of create bundles or a subscription type model for the services that you do? Subscription, I could, if for the small companies, I could, but I would have to have more connection with them and work with them and see what they want. And they could have a subscription of having like certain hours per month that they can come to me and I can do like simple drafting. I think the limiting a boundary for those small contractors is what I have to build right now. Now that I want to offer that service more, because I notice it's important. I saw how valuable it is, but the boundary would be that I'm only doing drafting. They always get confused because I'm an engineer, that I'm going to do the engineering part of it. That I'm going to tell them, oh, I'm going to put a beam here because this is going to strengthen this. I'm not going to do any of that. Okay. That needs to be done by an engineer. So the limiting that and letting the client know and making it clear that I'm only doing the drafting so they can send it to the engineer and the engineer can do the engineering portion of it.
Okay.
That's the part that I haven't made cleared yet.
Okay.
What else? But yes, I could even offer the service to actual engineers, which would be a lot easier than contractors because they understand my language. With contractors, I have to speak a different language. So with engineers, I could offer my services as well, and I also have to delimit. But I could offer a subscription as well. Like I can work with you guys this how many hours, and I can offer whatever you need me to draft, as long as they give me like their templates and like whatever they need me to draft, I will draft it. And I can even do hardcore analysis, like structural analysis, but that need to be done on programs.
Okay.
Because I have one of the engineers that work with me that he's in Spain. He's an actual structural engineer. He uses all the hardcore programmings that not many people here in the US use because they're too expensive. Or because they don't need it that many. Like many companies don't need to do those analysis because here in the US everything is very standardized. So only people that use those programs are huge companies that build really complex, like high scrapers. Those people are probably do have those programs. People that do bridge and just difficult structures that you need to do like a nonlinear analysis of earthquake and wind and all that, and all those things. Dynamic. So a dynamic analysis. So a dynamic analysis I can do, and I actually used to do that myself when I was in Venezuela, and I liked it. But I can have somebody do that.
Okay.
So that's something I can offer, and I remember some companies sometimes want it, like, oh, I need to do an analysis on this tunnel that is non-linear dynamic, but they have to know what they're doing too. So.
Yeah.
So I can offer that, and that could be like a subscription, like a bundle of this many hours that offers drafting and a non-linear analysis if needed.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Okay. I have so many thoughts. I save them to the end. As far as, have you ever thought about some sort of referral incentive? Of being like, hey, if you can bring somebody here, if you can bring me in customers, I got something for you on the backside of that. Has that ever crossed your mind?
I've heard of that. It hasn't with this engineering thing, no.
Okay. Okay. Okay, let's dive in a little bit just as far as, I want to make sure. Do you have, or what do you have as far as SOPs, templates, or checklists as far as kind of the process? I know we're in the fulfillment, yeah, I'll just leave it there. Do you have any of these things kind of figured out yet?
SOP?
Standard operating procedure? Okay.
No.
Okay.
I make it on the go.
Okay. Okay.
Which is what I think, what I was mentioning with the client's portion. Like, I do need a system for how the client's going to give me all the information.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I do it on the go and it goes well for now. but sometimes I miss something and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
if I have a system or a checklist or something, then that I can give them too, because that organizes contractors and engineers since they're so busy and stuff.
Is there any other products or services or industries out there that are like tangent to what you're doing? I think contracting would be one of them. And the reason I'm kind of bringing this up is, are there other businesses that you can reach out to that don't do exactly what you are doing but need these services?
Businesses like contractors or
Yeah.
like structural firms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So like structural firms.
Okay.
Like engineering consulting companies
Okay.
that they do all this stuff. They want to do the design. I can do the drafting portion for them.
Okay.
And they usually hire someone, but I would be like the service for that.
Okay. Do you have any strategic partners, or is there anybody that you could think of that you can partner with that can help you in this process? No? Okay.
I mean, I have the contractors that I work with,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if I could. I work with them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. What about that? We're pretty much done here, so I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. What about that Spanish engineer? For whatever reason, that flew up kind of a big opportunity. This guy that has all of the software out there.
Yeah, but he works with me.
Is he on your team?
He's on my team.
Okay.
Yes.
So the people that are wanting engineering, is that something that he is capable of doing?
Yes.
Okay.
But just like permitting, like the thing with the permitting portion, I would have to partner up with someone here, which I have the people that could do it,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still smoking weed and they're still doing this and they're still doing that. So they haven't gotten themselves ready for it, or they don't have the PE yet. So
Okay, so it's a PE. You need a professional engineer to to stamp your drawings.
yeah, but I have a friend that will eventually get it. Actually, he's on it. Like he's not slacking. I guess I'm pressuring it. But no, he's going on it. But I eventually, when I have people partnered up from here that could do that, that would be amazing. That would be the best.
Yeah.
The best collaboration. To have people, because they don't want to do the drafting either.
Mm-hmm.
They want to stamp.
Yep.
So it would be them also leading what is being designed. Them telling the drafter, oh, let's design this and this and that. And then the drafter does that, and then the drafter can actually also give insight, and the drafter can learn, because all the people that I'm bringing in are engineers. They're capable engineers or architects. Like I have the other person that works with me is an architect. So they are people that are really high skilled.
Mm-hmm.
They just work from outside, so they don't know the code.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Okay. I think for now, I think that's all. I think that's gonna be enough.
Sounds
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Mm-hmm. So what I would like to do, what I normally would do, but I might do it right now, just depending. What does the rest of your day actually look like? As far as, do you have anything you need to?
No, just that video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to spend like maybe 10 minutes just kind of gathering my thoughts a little bit, going through this stuff, and then just kind of coming up with some suggestions as far as things that I think.
On your own?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I can
just
go and do the video.
Yeah.
And put my headphones so you're not
Yeah.
listening.
perfect.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. This is awesome. All right. So, I mean, most of this is really, I mean, you have a very good understanding, I would say, of kind of, the next step that you need to go through as far as, standardizing things. But I have kind of, and this is kind of just a preliminary list. But I've got like six to 10 steps here.
Okay.
The very first thing I would just encourage you to do, and it's not necessarily like an action step, but going through this and just talking with you and getting to know you over the last, couple weeks, I would encourage you to really dive into the visionary role of this process. I think, just going through this, I think you really have a unique ability to really see the big picture and build a community and inspire people. So that would just be something. And again, one of the reasons I kind of like to do this is because it really also helps me. And a lot of the advice that I give is also kind of stuff that I think I also need to hear. So, this, at least for me, can be a very difficult thing to kind of accept. As far as, you really are in kind of the whole hierarchy of things, you really are the top. You are kind of the pinnacle of this thing. Like, you have that idea, you have the vision of where things could go. And that's pretty uncommon, really, of really seeing something. And it's also really inspiring. And I think what you're trying to accomplish, I think a lot of people would be very, very interested in helping you with what you're doing. I think, especially, the location freedom. So that would just be kind of the very first thing that I would encourage you to do. I don't know exactly where you're at in this. I don't know if you kind of consider yourself like a drafter or something like that. But I would really, kind of embrace this and just look at this as like, no, my job is really like to build this thing. Not necessarily to do the nitty gritty, but really like, okay, dive into the visionary role. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
Okay.
But it's an interesting focus on how you're saying, like, diving into it, because even though I kind of know it, I haven't really gave it that focus of like diving into it.
Yeah.
Completely.
And again, this is just kind of the initial thoughts, and I would be more than happy to really have a lot more conversations about this. But like the certain things, like the next thing that I would, encourage you to do, and you've already said this, is really come up with a plan to acquire more customers. And with this idea in your mind of like, okay, I'm acquiring more customers, but I'm not necessarily going to be the person that has to execute all of these things because I am trying to build this thing. You have a huge fucking vision. You have a huge vision, and really, like, you have a lot of work to do. I think that's the beautiful thing about a visionary is regardless, like you always see what needs to be done. And so, pulling yourself kind of out of the detailed work, and really it's like, okay, I got to look at this a little bit bigger, really the big picture the whole time. And then within that, some of the things that I would suggest, coming up, so with more customers, I would suggest coming up with a sales script. I don't know if you have one or not. And this is something that I used to really push against, having a script, but just having your organized thoughts beforehand, and being able to reach out, because some of the things I would encourage you to reach out to your existing customers and just, you said that you've worked with a few people, and just hit them up. Be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is why I think a script is important. Hey, this is what I'm doing. Trying to get more customers. We've worked together. Just curious if you had any more work or if you knew anybody that might need my services. With that, I would also encourage you, LinkedIn, I think, is an incredibly underutilized asset as far as business. I mean, this is literally a place where professionals come to communicate and find relationships with other people. So I would dive into that. And then also in this process is, getting a landing page, just getting something that you can send to people that I think will help in your reaching out and being like, this is what I've done. This is what I can do. This is my team. And I can give you all of these notes as well. And I can write up something much more formal. The other thing, I think something that could help in this process, at least move things forward and create a lot more opportunities, is finding a PE in the States that can stamp these projects. Because I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, these are just suggestions, but having somebody, I just feel like that opens up some massive doors. Especially if, you mentioned one of the things that you were saying is you have clients that want engineering, not just necessarily drafting. That right there, not only is that an easy upsell, that's a big ticket item.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you said visionary, when you said diving into the visionary role, that already opens the opportunity right away of that, because if I share my vision because that's what the visionary is. Visionary is sharing the mission, the vision, and it's so powerfully when you share it, then you attract the right people.
Yeah.
But I have the PEs, but I think I need to attract the ones that are ready for it, not the ones that are kind of like in the process, thinking and contemplating.
So the next, I would say, where is that? This wasn't the exact next thing, but on that same idea, I would really sit down and try to define the engineers that you want on your team. Like, because if you're going to dive into this and you're going to get people, one, you're going to get more customers, but that is going to have to turn into having, more engineers on the back side of things. So sitting down, and again, we didn't dive into it a heck of a lot, but it sounds like, there are some people that are kind of dragging their feet or whatever, that aren't quite operating, I think, on the level that you are trying to accomplish. But I think there is a whole world out there, and you don't need a million of them. You only need a couple of them. Mm-hmm. The ones that are motivated, the ones that really can buy into this dream and this platform. Where am I? I think the next thing too, and this is obviously, pretty broad in general, but I would standardize all of your processes. As far as, once you get this going, just to get really efficient and really being able to, like, when you're talking to clients and whatnot, just being able, this is what we do, especially on the engineering, like getting engineers to work with you. It's like, hey, this is what we're doing. Like, this is what we're creating. And these are step-by-steps, how we are actually doing these things. So, and then.
How do you call that?
Standardizing.
Standardizing?
Yeah, the processes. And one of the things, and again, I'm more than happy to help with these things.
I haven't, I see the beauty in standardizing processing, and I can see the processing, but I can't put myself to actually do it. Mm-hmm. Because it almost like I get like distracted. Yep. Almost like what people call ADHD, I just call it not ADHD. I just think that's not my purpose. Yeah.
Well, and on that, one of the things that I wrote down here is I think a good way of doing this, and is going through a mock interview. And this is also called, plotting your customer journey, which can be a bit tedious, but these are actually kind of the things that I really like diving into. Mm-hmm. But like, if you wanted to at some point, or if you have another client, but I would really, go through, it's like, how do you do this? Talking to a brand new customer, or even when you're talking to an existing customer, like, how does that conversation go? What questions do you have to have asked? And then what do you do? Because the thing is, these things, that everything already.
Can help me.
Absolutely.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I can focus on this.
Yeah. And then I think too, just lastly, I think, this is not, there's a lot of work in here, but I think another thing too that could definitely help is just evaluating your prices. You mentioned that was one of your weaknesses or opportunities, is valuing your services. And especially like if you can get a PE on board and you can go to people, you can say, hey, we offer drafted, we also offer engineering. Like if you need something done, if you need this from beginning to end, we have this entire process. We can get you something engineered, like, and get it approved. I think that alone, talking about just making more money, I think that having a PE on your team. So
to attract the engineer, because I think there are also brilliant engineers that are working in the industry, mm-hmm. kind of waiting. Mm-hmm. So getting one on board would be me attracting them, mm-hmm. and I guess I have to just define something to bring them on board, and that's because I don't have something built yet. It's like, where am I calling them to? Yeah,
well, and this is the thing too, kind of diving into the visionary role is you don't have to have it figured out. You don't. You have to be able to articulate in a half decent way what the hell you're trying to do. Because I really do think what you have will inspire a lot of people. Just being like, hey, listen, this is what I'm working for. We're working towards this degree. I think there should be something different. I don't think that the way of doing engineering or people working, I think this is outdated, at least for a majority or a portion of people. So really just coming up with that idea, and that kind of comes to that sales script of being like, this is what I'm trying to build, and then also defining who you want to work with. is it's like, okay, once I kind of am like, oh, fuck, these are the people that I want on my team. And then I can go and use LinkedIn, or, I would like to look at the Craigslist ad that you have and your video, but really coming up with...
Yeah, the video is mostly calling people for a platform, and then my Craigslist is really simple.
Yeah. And if Craigslist, here's the thing, if Craigslist is working, I fucking guarantee you that other things will work, because I think that Craigslist is a great place, but I don't think that's where a lot of attention is right now.
Yeah, no, and I do think I was sensing this, that if I really put myself for it, I think I would attract people, because I can see it, I can sense how people need it. It's just that I haven't put my foot forward because I didn't want to burn myself in doing it wrong. Like, I do think I need like at least a process, so it's not overwhelmingly busy.
Yes.
And then I can have time.
Yes.
To do what I like doing.
And that's why I would this is why I started the whole thing out of diving into the visionary role, of just being like, oh, okay. Because I do think that this is really, just the way that you're talking about your platform and your vision, it's very clear to me that this is, who you are, as far as this is the role that, you are very well suited for. And part of that too is also understanding is like, you don't have to have it figured out until you can't, you said it, you can't do it by yourself. This has to be a collaborative thing. Mm-hmm. So, those are just kind of, I know that they're relatively broad, but just these are kind of the processes, be like maybe a little bit of a shift of being like, okay, if I really want this to grow, I need to really focus on the big picture. I need to understand I don't have to have this shit figured out, because I hire and I can attract geniuses. And so like all I really have to do is be like, hey, how does this sound? This is what I'm trying to build. These are the people that I want on my team. Mm-hmm. And if you really are trying, going after excellence, like that will attract a very specific type of people, and you only need a couple to really get this thing to explode. So, and coming up with the process of just having something that you can, having a standardized way of talking to these people, and maybe having just a landing page, even your LinkedIn. I don't know what your LinkedIn looks like, but curating it a little bit, putting that video on there or something like that, being like, instead of, just this is who I am and my resume and this and that, it's like, no, I am a visionary, or I'm the owner of this thing. This is what we are trying to create. This is who I'm trying to attract. And then spending a little bit of time, even just coming up with a plan of being like, I'm going to spend, 30 minutes a day or 2 hours a week, whatever, kind of however you want to block it off, and be like, no, I'm going to put in the legwork on LinkedIn and just find, because it's the beautiful thing about LinkedIn. You could just go straight up, just search professional engineers, and there's probably a couple thousand that will pop up. So that's kind of the broad thing. There is obviously a ton in there, but how do those suggestions fit and feel?
No, they feel clarifying, because it's like, it's stuff, some of them is stuff that I knew, but laid down like that, it's like exactly what I need. And I think I have a lot of work to do, but it's like more motivational. Like, I don't know, it's clarifying, listening to the things that came out of my mouth, because it's never came out like that. And also listening to what you're saying and everything that you're saying and what you're telling me. It's like, and I almost sense that the vision that most like excites the whole thing is it's been the vision the whole time, but the way it came out is like perfect, which is the part of like being able to work from everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that right there, I think that's a very easy thing to sell. And the thing that you're offering is incredibly needed. There's no lack of, you're always going to need people to draft, and you're always going to need engineering. So it's not like a niche thing. I really do think kind of focusing more on the specifics of what you're trying to get. Plus, I really do, all of this is in hopes of trying to create something that really does inspire you, and it doesn't feel like work, where you don't have to necessarily do the details. or the things that you don't want to do, be like, okay, well, obviously you got to find somebody to do this, but it's like, no, I want to build this big picture thing, and hopefully that kind of creates the motivation and the momentum to keep things going on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, still, I feel like a lot of the steps is for me to do, but yeah. Working on sharing it probably is, there's many things that I'm feeling right now that I have to work on.
Yeah. And again, this is the thing that I really like this is, I mean, you already have everything in your head. You know all of the answers, you know exactly where you want to go, you know the steps that you need to do. But it can be, especially from a visionary standpoint, I mean, when you are so strong in certain areas, there is the deficit. And when you are very good at seeing the big picture and seeing the vision and really being drawn to that, it can be very difficult to just come up with the very next steps, because it's kind of boring. It's not quite as engaging of like, no, I want to create a transformative, engineering platform, as opposed to like, oh, I have to reach out to people and get more sales. But I do think, breaking them down all into little steps. What?
Nothing.
So I mean, I think that's, I mean, any questions, any thoughts on this? Anything I can help you with in this process?
I think so. But I'm gonna have to digest this.
Yes.
But I'm gonna need help for sure.
Yeah.
Especially in standardizing systems. I felt when I was feeling it and thinking about it, that I'm using AI. I'm using ChatGPT in a different way, and she's been helping me. So maybe the way that I'm working with her, maybe she can actually help me on this.
Yeah.
I might need help making things automatic and stuff.
Yeah.
I think standardizing systems is probably the thing. Maybe on selling to clients at some point.
Yeah.
But for now, I have a feeling of what's the next priority. And Craigslist is one of those, because I've been feeling that I need to change Craigslist, I did it like last year.
Okay.
And a post, and I change my even my social media. As soon as I see like last week's videos, I'm like, I have a different feeling now. So it's like, it's building up. I can't delete it because I'm like, you see growth also, but it's changing. So I see that post and I'm like, that's me. It's kind of small. Saying, hey.
Yeah.
Now a little more clear, and then yes. So I need to offer more engineering, get that PE. The PE, I have to think of ways of how can I attract a PE engineer that is qualifying to work with me. Yeah.
And for me, just the way that I would think about this is, I mean, kind of going right back to this, I think LinkedIn is going to be the easiest place to start, and it's free, and just being able to have, just coming up with a little bit of a process of, being able to just articulate exactly what you're trying to create, and just doing a really friendly message of just, this is just sales, and sales is a huge numbers game. So just reaching out to people, but just being like, hey, I noticed that you're a PE. This is something that I am doing. I'm just curious if this interests you at all, if you want to have a conversation, or if you know anybody that might be interested. I'm sure you're a very busy person, but if you need any extra work, or if you know anybody that something like that. But just very simple, not overthinking it. I wouldn't say. It just, these things are just putting in the legworks, and then the responses, like I said, I mean, if you're getting responses from Craigslist and things like that, well, that's probably a little bit different, but I think what you're creating is going to attract a lot of people. It's just a matter of getting out there and asking these people, because, and also the other thing too is, I think, if you're looking for a high caliber if you're high caliber people to work with, which I hope you are, and I would encourage you to, a lot of these people are probably already, have something going on. They probably already have a job, but this could be a much better opportunity for them.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about this is that it could start like a freelancing thing where they do it on the side, which is the best way to leave your job. Like that's how I started as well.
Yeah.
Just doing it on the side.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. And I really do think, just being able to articulate like, hey, this is a different way of working. We're trying to create a different way of working. We're not don't have it totally figured out yet. These are the steps that we're trying to do. This is where we're at in the process. This is who we're looking for. If you're interested, I'd love to chat. Or if you know anybody, I would love to chat. But I think I have a feeling, and I probably should be cautious of this. I think this is not a difficult sale. As far as, and I keep calling it a sale, but just, being able to find the people that are going to be interested in what you have, because I think what you have is superior.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Totally.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. No, I'm getting a lot of things, but I just don't want to
I hear you.
Yeah.
I understand, and we can be done. We don't have to. Can be kind of a lot. Going through this whole process, and hopefully the whole point. One of the things that I just like to ask these questions is it really, hearing yourself say these things, recognizing that you have them, maybe thinking about things that you necessarily hadn't put everything together before. That's hopefully part of the value of just going through this process. And then
the process was amazing.
Good.
I needed to hear all those. I haven't talked about this stuff in a while too.
Yeah.
Yesterday was just me thinking what I want in my life.
Yeah.
It wasn't really this vision.
Yeah.
It was tapping a little bit into what I like and my skills, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Not this deep. So
Good.
it was clarifying.
Good.
For sure.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.